G'day everyone, it's Joe here from thekissprinciple.net. Hope you guys have all had a fantastic Easter, had a good break with your friends and your family. We had the privilege of going to the Belgrave Heights Easter Convention here in Melbourne. Now I've got to say, if you're ever in Melbourne, Belgrave Heights Convention is one of the best ones to go to. If you want good, solid teaching that inspires you from the Word of God, the Belgrave Heights Convention is the one to go to. And I just wanted to share a couple of things with you that I got from the Easter Convention. I want to share this with you on the weekly word here on thekissprinciple.net. I want to talk about contract versus covenant. I want to share a little bit firstly about, well, what's the difference between the two? What's a contract? Well, a contract, if any of you especially that have worked in the area of business, that sort of thing, you'll know that a contract is a legally binding document between two parties, whether you're doing a mobile phone contract or a mortgage, a car loan, whatever. That is what we call a contract. Now let's have a look at what a contract is. Contracts can be partial. Contracts can be altered. In fact, also, let me go a step further as well. Contracts can be broken. Okay, so contracts is not something that you can approach and say this is a 100% rock solid guarantee that this is how it always has been and it's always going to be. That's what a contract is. So now let's move from a contract and let's go to what a covenant is. Now some of you might be new to that terminology. So what's a covenant? Well, a covenant is something that is 100% binding, and it's also 100% irrevocable. It is meant to last forever. Now, a good example of what a covenant is marriage. Now, some people may even look at marriage, they might think that it is a contract. Now, I don't want to go in that direction for this video because I could spend a lot of time there, but marriage is a covenant. It's something where you 100% in, and it's something that is fully committed and it's irrevocable. So Joe, where are you going with all this? Covenant, contract. I want to ask you the question this week on the weekly word. How are you looking at God? What is your relationship with God? Is your relationship with God a contract or a covenant? Now, what do I mean by contract with your relationship with God? We can come along our walk, we can say, hey God, I love you, I'm committed to you, we're going to do this, that, and the other. I'm listening to you, I'm praying, I'm reading the Bible, seeking you. But when things get difficult or when things get challenging, we turn around and we say, no God, that's enough for me. I'm not doing this anymore. So how are we approaching this? This is just like treating our relationship with God as a contract. And you know what the sad thing about it is? When you treat your relationship with God like a contract, when you go through challenging times, you don't get to see God's sovereignty come through, and you don't see God's hand leading you and guiding you, and not just where you're camped out in the difficult times, like walking through the valley of the shadow of death, but you don't see God lead you into victory. You don't see him taking you and helping you overcome those challenges in life. Why? Because you're not fully committed to him. It's just nothing more than a contract. But if you treat your relationship with God as, well, it actually is, not just treating it, but it is a covenant. And that covenant means, hey God, I'm sold out on you. I'm fully committed to you 100%. And hey, look, I understand that I'll make mistakes in life. Things might not always go the way that I want them to be. There will be challenges. There'll be all sorts of difficulties and trials and tests that will come my way. But I refuse to let go of you, God. I am going to walk with you. I'm going to stick to the path with you. I will do my very best with what I can, humanly possible, to walk with you, to pray and ask you to lead me day by day with you. Now, that is what I call a covenant relationship with God. That's faith, folks. In its simplest form, faith is just really trusting God. That's all it is. And When you walk in a covenant relationship with God, that is where you see His power, His goodness, His grace manifest. That is when you see impossible situations, times where you thought was a tragedy, times where you thought that all hope was lost. Nothing was going to get us out of these difficult times, these terrible situations. The hand of God comes through and He delivers you and helps you to walk in victory. Now, look, I could come to countless passages in the Bible that talk about that. People that have been in most difficult times, and all of a sudden you see the hand of God come and lead them out into victory. Why? Because they walked with God as a covenant. So my challenge for you this week, what's your relationship with God like? Is it a contract? Or is it a covenant? As always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, kissprinciple.net. Like us on our Facebook page. Follow us on Instagram. My name's Joe. Have yourself a great week. God bless.